the class today. We'll now do alkenes. Alkenes are unsaturated hydrocarbons with the double bond. You know very well. I need not to tell what alkenes are. CnH2n, and example is your ethylene. Ethylene, this is its common name. Ethene is the IUPAC name. And the formula of ethene is this, you know very well. And nomenclature we have already done earlier, so directly we come to the preparation of alkenes. First method is from dehydration of alcohol. Dehydration means removal of water from alcohol. So to remove water from alcohol, we use conch, H2SO4, or in place of conch H2SO4 we can use phosphoric acid, and the reaction is the same, and we obtain with sulfuric acid, that is your from here one hydrogen, is this if I just make it do, this OH is out, first H then O, so this whole group is out with one of the hydrogen, so water is out, and in place of OH, HSO4 bisulfate is attached here, and so it is ethyl hydrogen sulfate or ethyl bisulfate. And then further when it is heated, then this part is out and one hydrogen from here it is out, so that is a sulfuric acid. One H from here, this HSO4 will be making H2SO4. So H2SO4 which has been used here, that is eliminated. So H2SO4 is playing the role of catalyst as well as a drying agent. It absorbs water also. And then we obtain ethylene, that is ethene. And when we use in place of H2SO4, H3PO4, so here we will have, because it has 3 hydrogen, so we will have the compound form H2PO4, hydrogen phosphate, dihydrogen phosphate we will be obtaining. And when it is heated, so in that case it will be heated to 200 degrees Celsius, and we will be getting H3PO4 out, and CH2 double bond CH2 will be given out if in place of this we are using this. In these two are also called Lewis acids or protonic acid. Other Lewis acids are this, which you will study later on in the chemical equilibrium and equilibrium chapter. So these are also behaving as an acid and are called Lewis acids, so we can use them even. And so when we are using these acids, the process is laboratory, but in place of this, when we are using alumina over P2O5, phosphorus pentaoxide, it is a drying agent. And when we use these two in place of this, then we get ethylene, and direct ethylene. No, this product is there direct from here. We are getting ethylene when we are using this. And temperature is maintained higher, and then the process will be industrial. Then second method is dehydrohalogenation of alkyl halide. Dehydrohalogenation, D means removal, hydro is hydrogen, halogenation is halogen. So removal of hydrogen and halogen. First reaction is halogen from one halogen and one hydrogen. If I write like this, the compound CH3CH2Br, this compound is this. So Br from here and H from here is out. When it reacts with NaOH or KOH, then NaBr is out. One H from here, this OH from here will be forming water out, and CH2 double bond CH2C2H4, which is called ethylene, that will be formed. Then if we have unsymmetrical, this is very important. If we have unsymmetrical alkene, or that is means what? When bromine is not at the terminal, the halogen is not at the terminal, but halogen on the carbon on which halogen is there. If I show this like this here, Br here, then on this side, one side of this carbon, you have this side of this carbon, you have only one carbon, and the other side you have two. So it is unsymmetrical. And because when we have this case, then in that case we will not have just one product, we will have two products. So one product will be how, as I told, it is dehydrohalogenation. Halogen will be out and one hydrogen. So there will be two ways to remove hydrogen. One is hydrogen from air and the other is hydrogen from air. So first I take up from air. So KBr will be formed and the hydrogen from air and OH from air will be forming water. So if hydrogen is out from air, Br from already here, then the double bond we will have on the terminal, as you can see here. And this is simply butene, or butene 1 or butene. The other case is that when Br from air but H is not from air, H is out from air. So we will have here the double bond developed at the second and third carbon. And KBr will be out and water, OH and H from air. So this is your butene 2 or butene, you can say. So this is more substituted, this is less substituted. This is more substituted means water. Hydrogens are less. Here on the doubly bond, hydrogen is more. So that is more substituted is more stable. And that is your Sayzeff's rule. And that you have to do. Then the third method is from dehydrohalogenation, when halogen and hydrogen both will be out. That is actually this should have been dehalogenation instead of dehydrohalogenation. This is you can take as the third method, that is dehalogenation. So dehalogenation, so what it will be, ZnBr2 is out and CH2 double bond CH2. So this is your dehalogenation of dihalide. So this is called vicinal dibromide. So vicinal word is used when bromine is on the two adjacent carbon. Now when it is on same carbon, it is geminal. When both bromine will be on the same carbon, then geminal. And when they are on the adjacent carbons, it is the term vicinal. So this is also called vicinal dihalide or simply vicinal. And so this is these are the three methods of the preparation of alkene. Then the next method of preparation of next method, coal-based synthesis. This is also called electrolytic process. Electrolytic process, and you have seen this in alkane also, and you will again see this in alkyne chapter also. So coal-based synthesis is electrolytic process for the preparation of alkane, alkene and alkyne, but the starting compounds are different. So here we have potassium succinate, the salt of carboxylic acid, but potassium succinate, dibasic acid. And so when the solution of this is soluble, when the solution of this is taken, then it splits into its ion. Metallic part is out, and this is called succinate ion. It is having negative charge, as you see. So it will be on passage of current will be attracted on anode. The anode is positively charged electrode, and so it will be losing its 2 electron and will be turned into neutral succinate molecule. And as I told you in my alkane chapter, a carbon with 2 free oxygen is not stable. It releases automatically carbon dioxide. So 2 molecules of carbon dioxide will be out, and remaining part will be CH single bond CH2, CH2 single bond CH2, and to balance the valency of carbon, there will be a double bond. Yeah. So ethylene will be formed. Now next method, fifth method from alkyne. Alkynes, you know, they are unsaturated hydrocarbon, but more unsaturated than alkene. They have triple bond. So a higher alkyne is used. This method is for the preparation of higher alkenes, not like ethylene and lower ones. So higher alkyne is taken, reduction is done. That is a hydrogen gas is taken over palladium. Palladium is playing the role of a catalyst. This is a solvent used. This is charcoal that activates palladium. And we obtain, that is, one hydrogen is added here, one hydrogen is added here. So triple bond will be turned into the double bond. And so we get this compound. This is alkene. And this is higher alkene. And you have studied isomerism, geometrical isomerism. On the double side, the carbon, olefinic carbon, double bond. So this side you have similar group, this side you have similar group, this is cis form. And if I write like this H here and R here, then this will be trans form of the same. So this alkene either cis will be form or trans, but it depends upon the type of catalyst. If you take the catalyst, Lindeler's catalyst, then you will get cis form. And if you use sodium over liquid ammonia, then you will get a trans form. So this also you have to remember. And now we'll come to the properties. Physical properties. First is physical state. Carbon 1 to carbon 4, they exist in gaseous state. Carbon 5 to carbon 18 in liquid state. From 19 above in solid state at room temperature or ordinary temperature. The second property, that melting point, boiling point, these properties are for reasoning questions. So these points are important in this. First is higher melting point than corresponding alkanes with same carbon atom. Point is clear, very simple. Melting point increases with increase in molecular weights, but no regular trend. Third is cis and trans isomers have different melting point. Cis, if cis and trans form means what? The structure is same, number of, or you can say molecular formula will be the same, but the cis form will have lower melting point and trans form will have higher melting point. Then boiling point, first is increases with increase of molecular weight. Branch alkenes have lower boiling points than corresponding straight chain. Okay, branching and so molecular formula may be the same, but because of the difference in the chain, the boiling point will be changed. Branch will have lower and straight chain will have a higher. This branch is having lower means what? Crowding is there and it is less stable. So easily it will be turned into vapor. Then third, cis have higher boiling point there than trans. Boiling point increases with molecular weight in a straight chain alkanes. Boiling point decreases with molecular weight in branch chain alkanes. And boiling point increases by 20 to 30 degree for each carbon atom added to the molecule. Means ethylene and propylene, they will have difference of 20 to 30 degrees Celsius of boiling in their boiling points. Then fourth is your dipole moment. Dipole moment is the you can say physical quantity through which we can know polarity of the compound. So alkenes are weakly polar transform, and if trans-symmetrical alkene, if they are symmetrical, same number of carbon atoms on either side. In mechanism, I have explained to you symmetrical and unsymmetrical alkenes. So, symmetrical alkenes in which same number of carbon atoms on either side of double bond. But if it is trans, attached groups are on the opposite side, then dipole moment, mu is the symbol through which dipole moment is symbolized. So mu will be 0, means it will have no polarity. But if it is trans and unsymmetrical, then that is dipole moment will not be 0, means what? It will be polar. Although it will be polar, but the dipole moment, the polarity will be less than its cis form. So these points are important. Then the fifth, density. These are lighter than water. 1 point. Second point, density increases with increase in molecular weight. So I have jotted down important points, and this you will have to memorize. And now we'll do the chemical properties. Now chemical properties. Since it is unsaturated, so addition reaction they undergo. First is with hydrogen. So alkene on treatment with hydrogen, it is catalytic reduction also it is called, and either in the presence of nickel or platinum or palladium. But when nickel is there, so much temperature, platinum, palladium, platinum or palladium are there, then ordinary temperature, not that high temperature, and pressure will also be required, but the product obtained will be alkane, saturated hydrocarbon. Since hydrogen is being added, so reaction is called hydrogenation reaction. And when nickel is as a catalyst, the reaction is named as Sabatier and Sentry's reaction. So name reactions are important. Then with halogen, the reaction with the halogen, so reaction is called halogenation. So bromine is used. Bromine exists in the form of liquid having red color, and so when bromine is added to an alkene in the presence of an inert solvent, an inert solvent is your carbon tetrachloride, then one Br will be attached here, other Br will be attached here. But the advantage of this is that bromine water will become colorless. Color of bromine is discharged, so the red colored substance will become colorless. So this is a test for alkene. This is a test for alkene. That is, alkenes are decolorized bromine. Okay, then with HX, hydrogen halic acid. Hydrogen halic acid means halogen. Halogen can be either iodine, bromine, chlorine or fluorine. But most common is your Br, HBr and Hi. So HBr when combined reaction is simple. When H is attached there, Br is attached there. And since hydrogen and halogen both are attached, going to be linked, so the reaction is called hydrohalogenation. And the order of the reactivity of hydrohalic acid is this, that you have to remember. This will be reacting faster than this will be, and so this order you have to remember. The other thing about this particular reaction is most important for the mechanism portion. That is for unsymmetrical alkene. Here this is symmetrical alkene. When alkene is unsymmetrical, a different number of carbon atoms on either side of the double bond, then alkene is unsymmetrical. This is example of unsymmetrical alkene. You can see that different number of carbon atoms on other side. So this we have done in mechanism chapter. So I have written down for unsymmetrical alkene this reaction. You can follow from mechanism chapter if you have not studied there or you have forgotten. And then we have to use Marconi-Combs rule in detail. I have taught to you that with several examples, and so you will revise from there. Then next is with H2SO4. When we take H2SO4 cold and calm, but we don't take any water there, and so the reaction goes this way. First your bond splits from here. H will be attached here, OSO. This is HSO4 part that will be linking here, and we will get ethylene hydrogen sulfate. And this is being hydrolyzed when water is poured on it. Sulfuric acid is out and one H is attached here, OH here, and we get ethanol. So here we are getting indirectly ethanol. So this is called hydration. Addition of water is hydration. You can see that one H is attached there, OH is attached there. So water molecule is added, so it is hydration reaction, but indirectly done. And in this case, hydration is done directly. When directly we are pouring water in the presence of conc H2SO4, then directly we are obtaining ethyl alcohol. So now the next property, vibration, combustion, burning, complete combustion. Alkenes burn readily, and so reaction is exothermic. You can see the reaction. Alkene, oxygen from the air gives CO2, water, and reaction is exothermic. It forms explosive mixture that you should know, with air and oxygen. And a strong oxidizing agent, this is your KMNO4 is a strong oxidizing agent. They can oxidize. So meaning is what? That weak oxidizing agent have no effect on them. So oxidizing agent with alkaline KMNO4. First is when alkaline KMNO4 is cold and dilute. It can be alkaline or it can be aqueous also. So when this is here, this is representing this nascent oxygen is from alkaline KMNO4. So here in this reaction you don't see any KMNO4. So here actually this nascent oxygen which we have taken over here, that is obtained when KMNO4 is treated with the alkali. And we get this compound, one OH attached here, other OH from here, OH from here is attached here, this H and this O will form another OH will be attached here, and the compound is ethylene glycol, also called 1,2-ethane diol. Then the important feature of this is a test for alkene also, that is color of the potassium permanganate, which is pink, that is decolorized when an alkene is added, and this test is called Bayer's test. Alkaline KMNO4 is called Bayer's reagent, and so this test is called Bayer's test. So this is another test. One test you have seen it previously, that is alkene decolorized bromine. Red color of bromine is given off, and here you can see pink color of KMNO4 is discharged. And so these two are the tests for alkene. Another reaction, that if this KMNO4 is hot, then we don't get ethylene glycol, instead we get formic acid. And if sufficient oxygen we have, excess of oxygen, that is excess of your KMNO4, the reaction won't stop at formic acid. It will continue to give carbon dioxide and water vapor, which are volatile products. Now the next reaction, if this is your alkene, one alkene combining with ozone. Ozone when it splits, it gives O2 molecule and nascent oxygen. O2 has a double bond. So when ozone attacks this double bond, we obtain the two pieces. This double bond is broken and we have two pieces, and the single oxygen is commonly linked between the two carbons, and these oxygens are attached to each of the carbon. So one oxygen here, and this. So one of the bond is balancing it to be attached with each of the carbon. So this compound is called ozonide. So whichever alkene you have started, ozonide of that. If it is ethylene, so ethylene ozonide. If propylene, then propylene ozonide. And This is undergoing hydrolysis, acidic hydrolysis, reaction with water. Then bond breaks from 3 places, 1, 2, 3 places. And so you can see we will have 3 pieces here, 1 piece this, 1 piece this, and 1 this is. So this oxygen and water will form H2O2, hydrogen peroxide, that will be the byproduct. And we have got this piece, HCHO, and the other piece CHHO. Both are same because both sides are identical, so both pieces are same. But valency of carbon is not balanced, so a double bond will be generated. So these 2 will be there, or you can write 2 molecules of this compound. What is this? This is this, which you also write like this. So this is formaldehyde. So we will obtain formaldehyde. Now if this H happens to be CH3, then this will be CH3. Then we will have 1 piece this, and the other piece we will have this. So we will have mixture of formaldehyde. This is formaldehyde, and this is acetaldehyde. If here also 1 alkyl group, then we will have here R, and we will have here aldehyde. If this R is CH3, then both will be the same. If R is different, C2H5, we will have another aldehyde. Then if both of these are CH3, then here also we will have CH3, we will have CH3. So in that case, this is not aldehyde, this is acetone. This is acetone. And this side, this piece will remain aldehyde. And if here also we have R, then we will also have here R. So this will be a ketone. If both are your alkyl group CH3, then we will have acetone, same kind. So what do you understand over here? That if a double bond carbon has 1 hydrogen, then we obtain aldehyde. And if we have this olefinic carbon, both groups alkyl, then we get a ketone. So to obtain aldehyde from an alkene, the olefinic carbon, doubly bonded carbon, must have at least 1 hydrogen atom. Here I have not shown. So this will also be R and R, understandable that is. So this is ozonolysis. Now next is polymerization. Okay, so next is your polymerization, and in polymerization it is self-addition. That is because the double bond alkenes have. So 1 molecule of alkene will be added to other. A number of ethylene molecule will be added. So a general reaction you can show like this: CH2, CH2N, and it will be giving you CH2, CH2, a bond, and we show like this. This is polyethylene or polythene. So this is the polymer. This way the reaction is carried on. This is simple addition, and so 2 kinds of this is there. And the 2 kinds of this is formed on the basis of the temperature and method how it is prepared. So on the basis of the density, if the density is low, it is called low density polyethylene. If density is high, it is called high density polyethylene. So LDPE and HDPE, these are the 2 important polymers of alkene. Other polymers which are quite popular, that is PVC, polyvinyl chloride, of which pipes are made, you know that, and Teflon. Teflon, that is for non-sticking cookware, it is being used mainly, and that is your polytetrafluoroethylene, the compound. So here in your chapter 18, uses of alkene you will see from the book. So next chapter I will be taking alkyne. So till then, bye.